Ani DiFranco has a new album coming out and just released her single on YouTube and other venues called Do or Die. And Ani DiFranco's on the line. Hi, Ani.
Hi.
There's a couple things I want to talk to you about. One is that last year you released No Walls and the Reoccurring Dream, your memoir, and it was outstanding. I really enjoyed reading it. And
Oh,
one of the first things that surprised me was that you knew Rod McDonald, who's a popular singer here in South Florida.
oh yeah. How cool. Well, first of all, thanks for reading my book. And yes, Rod. Wow. I have not seen or talked to him in decades. So you there in South Florida have to say hi to me.
Did he have an influence on your songwriting or career?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, he was a pal of this fella Michael, who was basically my mentor. Michael took me under his wing in Buffalo. He was a singer-songwriter, and he would bring Rod to Buffalo to play folk shows, and I was there. I attended all of Michael's shows that he put on, and so yeah, just Rod and a whole host of sort of New York City songwriters, folk singers were a part of my early consciousness for sure.
Another thing I picked up from your book, well, I actually knew it before, but you have a fearlessness about you. And concerning the time we're in now with the pandemic, does that fearlessness help you?
I think so. I think it's helped me throughout my whole life to not be steered around by my fear. I mean, it's funny because, as you say, like, because that's sort of a deep part of my nature, I don't feel like fear of the virus in my body, in my spirit, but I do believe in science. I do believe in doing the right thing. So I try to, do the recommended protocol logically, with my mind. But as far as my spirit is, I just be out there hugging people. I have to override my instincts with my logic, as it were.
I see from looking at your website that next weekend you'll be at the Women's March in Washington, D.C. to protest the hypocrisy of the Republicans going through with the nomination of the Supreme Court Justice when they ignored President Obama's nomination. Was there any hesitation going because of the pandemic?
Well, yeah. I mean, certainly attending any demonstration on the street right now is a loaded proposition. There's a lot more at stake in a pandemic. So, yeah, traveling there. I mean, I'm going to travel there in a van with 3 other women to the Women's March in D.C., and I think there will be sister marches in cities all over the country. But we're all going to get tested 2 days before we get in the van, and we're gonna, so that we can bubble up together, and, we'll be masked on the street, and we'll be just trying to be cautious, but be counted.
Ani DiFranco's on the line. Your new CD, your new official release is called Do or Die. And it certainly is you think now is the most important election? You've been so involved in anti-war movements and so many different movements. What is the state of what is it like right now?
Well, yeah, I mean, that new single, the title, Do or Die, I'd like to say I was being dramatic here, but I really do feel that, voting in this upcoming elections, all the way down the ballot from top to bottom, all equally important, is a matter of life or death for a lot of people. It is just cut and dried, whether it's the pandemic, whether it's police behavior, there are just so, the whole criminal justice system, et cetera. There are many people living on the edge, and if we don't make ourselves accountable and vote to protect them, more people will die. And I also think this time around we're really voting to preserve our right to vote. I do believe that very concept, the fundamental concept of our democracy, is at stake here. So, I think it's very high stakes.
I really enjoyed the video. As it seems incongruous because it's such a joyous event. You include the New Orleans Dance Collective in the video, and it's just a
Yeah.
happy thing.
Yeah. Amen. Amen to that. I, it's hard to say, depending on who's in office, in whatever political office, whether sort of demonstrations on the street are impacting them, are affecting them, whether they care or not about the majority of people's wishes and demands. But getting out there on the street with your fellow humans who care and love and support each other, I think is an important act for ourselves alone, because it's joyous, because you feel less alone. You feel invigorated to go back to your life and your work, and part, it's important for us to support each other, I think, even more than it is to try to change somebody else's mind. Because I
Yeah.
think the stronger we feel, and the more joyous we are, the more people will just want to come along.
Is that your neighborhood that you're riding your bicycle through?
Well, I rode through the whole city, really. I mean, I stenciled the levee wall right where it broke and devastated the Ninth Ward. I stenciled the sidewalk in my neighborhood. We went all over town and hung signs.
Are you a member of the dance collective?
Well, not yet, but boy, when they open back up, of course they're shut down now for the pandemic. I want to go there and take some classes. I just fell in love with all of them that day.
When is the album coming out?
Well, that's up in the air. We've been shooting for December all along, but now my team is somewhat worried that there will be political and social chaos, and that is an inopportune time to release a record. So I don't know. We're talking either December or January, whenever I guess it feels right and plausible.
We mentioned you're fearless. Have you ever gone up to someone and asked them to put their mask on?
Gee whiz, I haven't, but I sure have wanted to. I've been on airplanes since the pandemic started with masked protesters, and the apparently the airlines themselves can't make you, because they say, please put your mask on, and some people don't. And I noticed they didn't say anything to them, and I was sitting diagonally across from one, and it's disrespectful, it's unsafe, and it's a problem. And I certainly wanted to, but despite what people may think of me, I'm not really a person to get in people's faces. So I just kept my mask on and I turned away. I don't know if that's what that says, but that's what I did.
Well, I enjoyed the video quite a bit. Are you making other videos?
Yeah, I mean, nothing on the scope of Do or Die. That was quite the production with a lot of people, a big. But yeah, there's another song on my new record called Contagious. And I made a homegrown video just by myself, with a lot of footage that I've taken on my bike rides during the pandemic in New Orleans. And so if anybody wants to know what New Orleans in a pandemic looks like, that they can check out that video in a few weeks.
Ani DiFranco, thank you so much for talking to us.
All right. Thank you so much.